So hi everyone, I'm the Learning Technology Manager here at Liverpool. And yeah, today I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into the student's perspective of what a taught module would look like. So just to note that all university students are given a Microsoft Office 365 account, and that account is used to access a variety of different resources across the university. So on this learning platform, I'm going to log in with my student account that I have. Excuse me. And yeah, this student account allows me to log into the online learning environment, but this will also give me access to a resource such as the university library, which is also very useful. So this is a single sign-on across the board. So when you log in as a student for the first time, you are welcome to your learning platform. Just to note that this platform does work well on mobile and tablets, for instance. So I've been testing it quite significantly on my mobile device to ensure that the mobile experience is good. So if you need to be on the go, on the train, you'll have access to the platform and you'll be able to read through materials and so forth. On the left-hand side, you'll notice there is a navigation hamburger, and this opens a navigation drawer, which gives you access to a variety of different resources and links for your module. Under the My Courses section, we can see a list of my courses, and here I have the one that I will demo today, which is CSCK 501. It's one of our computer science modules. An alternative to access your modules that you're enrolled in is by clicking on the Get Started button. And that takes us to an overview of all the modules that we are enrolled in. And from here, I'll click on Global Trends in Computer Science. So yeah, this is our Global Trends in Computer Science, which is our first module in the Artificial Intelligence program. And the view now changes of the navigation on the left-hand side of the screen to match that of the layout of the course. So every module that you take will follow a similar layout as you see here on the left. So you'll see it's broken up into different sections. And in this case, we have an 8 weeks of study that you will do. The first page you'll land on is the module home. So the module home gives you an overview of what you are expected to learn in this module. So there'll be some outcomes for the specific module. Below that, we have a lecturer office. This is temporary data, as this isn't a live module. But if it were a live module, you would see information pertaining to your lecturer for this module. And here you will see an area for their office hours in which you can contact them, as well as a Zoom meeting room and their email address, and a bit of a biography if you wish to know a bit more about your lecturer. Additional to that, we have a Get in Touch section, which is a Q&A style forum where you can ask your lecturer any questions throughout your studies. It's a wonderful place to just get some questions if you have any simple questions that need answered throughout your studies. Additionally, we also have a support section here on the right-hand bottom side. So if you click on that, this links you to a knowledge base of different knowledge articles, which will help you through your studies, and you can easily search for a specific support topic here if you wish to try solve a problem yourself, but also to note that there's a live chat section where you can also speak to one of our student support advisors. Moving on to the additional resources section below the lecture office, you will typically find a grading criteria area, and that would be the grading criteria for this module. So it would be a breakdown of the weighting of the different assignments throughout your module. In this case, we have a glossary of terms for this module, a video playlist, and a reading list, which links off to a reading list platform at the University of Liverpool, where all the reading for this module will be located. Moving on to additional resources, from additional resources to deadline details. Each module that you take will have a deadline details area. Obviously, this is also just temporary information here on the right-hand side, but it lays out the specific assessments that you will need to complete throughout the module, as well as when that specific assessment will be available, and when it needs to be submitted by, and so forth. Moving on to the seminars section. In some modules that you study throughout your degree, you will find a seminars page, and this is an area where we do synchronous live sessions where you will have an opportunity to meet with your lecturer as well as fellow peers. And typically there's a specific discussion point, such as in this case, IT management and corporate structures. And there'll be some seminar preparation here on the right-hand side that you click off to, where you would partake in some additional reading and perhaps watch some video resources prior to engaging with your lecturer and peers. So in this case, there's 4 live sessions throughout this module in weeks 2, 4, 6, and 8. So a really good place to meet your lecturer and so forth. Then I'll quickly hop into a week of study. So in week 1, we'll see that there is an introduction to the specific week. So there are some outcomes for the week, and Then below the outcomes, you'll see there is an activities area. And these will be the activities that you will need to complete for this week of study. So as we can see, the first activity for this week is a lecture cast. And a lecture cast is our version of a typical lecture that you would have in a classroom, but we've broken it up into more digestible components. And I'll show you an example of what a lecture cast looks like. Let me quickly go back to my homepage. So typically when you arrive on a lecture cast for the first time, you will see the topic for this specific lecture cast. And there'll be some introductory text below that, which indicates what you'll be learning in this lecture cast. As you can see, I've been actively working through this lecture cast. So there is some activity completion on the right-hand side where you can keep track of what you have completed and what you're still working on. So if you wish to walk away, come back a couple hours later and continue working on a lecture cast, you can do so. As you can see, this lecture cast is broken up into a series of sections. So in this case, there's an introduction and there's some section on blockchain, for instance. I'll quickly hop into this first section over here, which takes us to some video material for this module. So I'm going to hit play over here quickly and just mute the voiceover. But typically, there is a voiceover running below this video, and you'll be introduced to concepts and such through these various multimedia assets. And in this case, it's about the history of computing, and the lecturer is walking us through a couple examples of the different devices that have been developed over history. Below that, we have additional reading materials. So this is a bit of a mixed media environment. So there'll be some reading, some video materials, perhaps even an audio file that you need to listen to, such as a podcast. And you continue to work your way through the lecture cast here on the left-hand side if you wish, or you can continue scrolling down through the materials. And when you reach the end of each section, it points you to the next section of materials that you need to cover. And typically at the end of each section, there is a check your knowledge section, which I'm currently busy on, and you will submit your answers to a quiz and you'll get some feedback at the end of that check your knowledge section. There are various types of other activities that you could expect here. It could be drag and drop activities. There could be text entry activities, or also all within the lecture cast environment. I'm going to quickly jump back to the week of study. So below the lecture cast, we have a bunch of extension activities here. So these are referencing to some of the materials that you would have learned within your lecture cast. So in this specific case, we have a future of AI debate. And in here, it's a typical discussion forum. Students will come in and you will answer a series of questions that are posed to you, and you will collaborate and discuss the specific question with your peers and your lecturer. Hopping back to week one. Below that, we have our reading list for this week. So all the reading that you'll need to do for the week, if I click through into that, there are a series of citations here to the reading material that you'll need to access. But at the bottom of the page, there's a link off to the TALIS reading list system. I can show you an example of that quickly. There we go. So this is the reading list for this specific module. So you can easily click on the view online button to view the reading for the specific module. And as you'll see, all 8 weeks of reading is here. So if you wish to read ahead, you can always go and work your way through the reading list in the TALIS online reading list system. Then jumping back to week one, we have an assess discussion forum. So in this case, this assess discussion forum runs over 3 weeks. So in week one, students are required to post an initial response to a discussion prompt. So there's a question. And then throughout the following two weeks, you will need to respond to some of your peers. And in the third week, you provide an executive summary of your learning experience throughout this discussion forum. And then that forms a part of a grade, forms part of the overall grade for the specific module. Hopping back to the week one again, and then below here we have similar to a discussion forum, but in this case it would be in a blog style format. And this is a formative activity where you as the student would need to engage with or create a blog post and post that in this area. And then students and your lecturers and your lecturer can comment on your blog posts and so forth. But yeah, that's just a very basic overview of what the learning experience looks like, what the platform looks like, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding the online learning material.